So Mark and Jeff, how much was your guys' first wholesale deal?
40K.
40G. Wait, do you guys hear that?
40K.
40G? Man, can you guys imagine what that would do? That would, dude, I used to make 30K a year, man. So now, where did that lead came from?
That lead came from driving for dollars, actually, Khang. Driving for dollars. And then actually cold calling that, following up and
Oh, shoot. Okay, we're not going to have this internet issue here. What's going on? Oh, my God. So, Jeff, Mark, we having, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. We got some internet issue, but we're good now. You guys, 40 G's, driving for dollar, D for D. Boom. You guys, welcome to the Wholesale to Million family. We're back with another subscriber first wholesale deal interview. Today, I got Mark and Jess to come on to share with you guys basically the whole entire breakdown of the deals, what's going on, and how they close their first deals, and what it takes to make that happen, okay? So before I hand it over to them, for them to share with you guys their stories, for those of you who don't know, I am running a 2K web class, happen on November 23rd. It's on a Saturday where I take on 20 people exclusively. It's like a web class just like this where I will share with you all the tips, all the tools, all the strategy, all the system, our whole entire business blueprint layout, answer any question you have because we get to interact back and forth just like this so you can take your business, your life to the next level. Listen to me. Whatever that is that you're missing right now, whether you're a beginning or maybe you're trying to scale your business up, I don't care. Whatever you're missing right now, I am the missing link to your puzzle on that day. But it does cost $2,000 per person or per couple. If you're a massive action taker, listen, if you're not going to take action, this is not for you. This is for those of you who's going to listen. Knowledge without action, knowledge without execution is worthless. So if you don't take actions, don't waste the money. But so shoot an email over to wholesalemillions@gmail.com and I'm ready to rock and roll with you, man. So no further ado, you guys put your thumb together. Help me welcome Mark and Jeff. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Khang?
Dude, first of all, where are you guys based out of?
We're out of Silicon Valley, so specifically San Jose, California.
San Jose. Wait, and is this deal from San Jose?
It's about 30 miles out. It's actually from Morgan Hill, California.
Got it. Because I know San Jose is super competitive. So
crazy competitive.
Dude, and if you guys get a deal, I want to hear all about it. So anyways, you guys, Mark, Jeff, first of all, I want to know your stories. Like, how do you guys come in partner? Like, I want to know the dirt and then lead into the first wholesale deal.
Okay. Yeah, so actually me and Mark partnered up about, I would say a year and a half ago. And we actually met through our actual jobs at the time. Me being in my industry, kind of coincided with his, and we met through that way and decided to partner up and start investing our time into building something bigger for ourselves. And that's how we met. And
yeah, just to kind of elaborate that, I work in a security operations center, so I work more on the technical side of security. Jeff is he's on the electrician side, so he installs the software and I actually operate it with my company. It's funny the way we met. Jeff came into the office and during my lunches, all I do is read. I read, I study, I do whatever I can to continue to develop myself. So I had a no money down real estate book. And Jeff's like, hey man, like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, I'm learning about real estate here. And he's like, what? So am I, man. And honestly, long story short, that's where we partnered from.
Yeah.
So
we're both big into personal development.
Yeah.
We're both big into personal development, and then we both, have the real estate in common. We were like, man, let's partner up and really hit this hard together,
Nice, man. So if you guys don't mind me asking, man, how old are you?
30.
30?
I just turned 30, yep.
So Jeff, you're 30, and Mark, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, dang, dude. I'm 35.
Okay, there we go. So,
Dang, dude.
We're right behind you, Khang.
Dude, Jeff, dirty 30, bro.
Dirty 30, yeah, already passed. Yeah. Exactly.
Dude, no, bro. Now it's money, dude. Money 30.
Yeah, big
Money
time.
30, bro. Okay.
Big time.
Wait, okay, so now how long have you guys been working at the JOB for, bro?
I've been doing it for about close to 10 years, about eight years or so. Yeah. Been grinding for that long. Yeah.
Dude, gotcha, bro. So 8 years. And now, so I guess the question is, why real estate?
Well, I mean, it's funny. We kind of both always had, that's what we also had in common too. We always envisioned getting into real estate. We just really didn't know where to start, how to get into it. We always, probably like a lot of people, believe that you had to have, a lot of money to be able to get into real estate, right? To play the game.
Yep.
And then, as we started researching more, we came across wholesaling. We were like, man, is this real? Can we really do this? And then that started the journey. Man.
Gotcha, man. So when did you guys actually discover wholesaling?
Personally, it's funny. I've known about wholesaling for a long time, maybe 7 to 8 years now. And so, like Jeff was saying, I've always been ambitious for success. I've always wanted to do something. And, like some people want to develop a tech company. They want to go create different company, but it costs money. Like it takes a lot of cash flow to actually do something like that.
Yep.
So for me, I started looking into real estate. And I followed all the podcasts, Bigger Pockets, just all of them out there. And a lot of it is in relation to multifamily. So I was like, man, like I don't got $200,000 to put down on multifamily. I don't have $100,000 to invest in fix and flip in. But what's this no money real estate thing about? Wholesaling.
Yeah.
So then we got into wholesaling, started watching videos from you. Max Maxwell, just all these big people, and got into it. But from your question, a year and a half.
Gotcha. So
a year and a half.
Gotcha. So basically about a year and a half ago, where you guys really took it serious and took action.
A year and 3 months to be exact. So like we found out about it about a year and a half ago, and then we took our first course, really started taking it serious, and a year and 3 months to be exact.
Wow. So it took you guys 1 year and 3 months to close your first deal.
But you know what too, Khang? Because I don't want people to be out there and be like, dang, it's going to take a year and 3 months.
Right.
We didn't work as hard as we should have. I'd say we operated at 60, 70%.
Right.
So if someone really went out there, 10x'd it, 120% into the business, we could have done this in, I'll give you a story, Khang. The deal we closed,
Okay. You're back, Mark. I apologize, man. You're back.
Did you catch that, Khang?
No, I didn't.
So I said, to be honest, the deal that we just closed, we had it in our driving for dollars list for at least 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
Before we even called it.
Yeah.
And we got very lucky because when we did call it, they already had a buyer. And so I spoke to the guy and he was like, hey man, you just called about a week or two, too late. We actually have a buyer, but if it doesn't go through, I'll call you back. And so just thankfully, the guy couldn't move on it, whether he didn't have the profits or the funds or whatever it may be. And that's how we came into the deal. So.
Gotcha. And then I'm going to let you guys share your first deal, but really quickly is that I appreciate Mark point that out. Now listen, some have they start 30 days later, they got a deal. Some took 6 months. Right. Mark and Jeff took a year. Really, it depends on how much time, how much action you take, how much work you put into it. So so they also set an example for those that are only 6 months in and you're whining, complaining, like, oh, I want to give up because, dude, they took a year and 3 months. I took 6 months. Other
Right.
people took I've known some people that took them 2 years.
Right.
So the reason why they got their first deal is just like every single one of us. They didn't give up. They just keep on going.
Persistence. Yeah.
So okay, now let's hear about the first deal, man.
Go ahead.
I guess I can do it since I found it. Basically, so we operate here in the Bay Area, but I live in Gilroy, California. And so that's about 15, 20 minutes from Morgan Hill. And so basically on my way home, Google Maps directed me into a different location, past this house in Morgan Hill, caught my eye. I can tell it was vacant. I saw all the distress signs of a property that was going to be beneficial to wholesaling, and basically took the address down, put it in the deal machine, skip traced the number, called them 6 months later, and thankfully they had not sold it. They were in the process of a deal, but that's how we came into the deal. It was driving for dollars.
Gotcha. And for those of you who's listening, if like one of your source is driving for dollars, you don't have deal machines, like you need to get deal machines, all right?
Yeah, deal machine for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And if you use the code WTM, you get a $40 credit. I'll get a $40 credit. But deal machines will help you tremendously when driving for dollars. All right. So now, tell me about the details. How you guys came, like, how's the conversation with the seller goes and all of that, man.
Yeah, I think it's important that before we get into that real quick, it was we used a deal machine, right? And we sent out a postcard, just like everyone I'm sure does. But it's important that you got to be proactive, right? We sent the postcard, but instead of waiting for them to call us, we actually followed up, skip traced it, like you said, Khang, and reached out to them directly. And come to find out later on, he did actually have the postcard. He kept it in his little binder where he had all the information for that property. But just that wasn't enough for him to call us, right? He kept it. He was like, man, this might come in handy one day. But that wasn't enough for him to move on it. It took us reaching out to him and saying, hey, we're interested. We want to come take a look at it. What do we have to do? So, for people watching, being proactive, just because you send the postcard, do as much as you can to get a hold of that person. You don't want to have to just sit around and wait, for them to contact you. You reach out to them. I think that's very important.
Absolutely, Jeff. Agree 100%. Because I get people DM and email me, said, well, Khang, I call them and they don't answer. What else should I do? Do everything, man. Shoot them an email, shoot them a text message, send them a postcard, send them a letter, drive to their house. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. A lot of times if it's absentee owner, find out where do they actually live. If you had to, go knock on that door, man. If you can't get a hold of them, do whatever it takes to get a hold of that person, because you never know what's on the other side of that, right?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so now let's get into the deal. So obviously when you guys call, the seller said it's under contract with another buyer. I want to know the details. What's the next step you guys did?
Follow up. So again, like you just said, I gave the guy a call, and at the time he was like, hey, he was like, we are interested in selling, although there's another person who already made an offer. Coincidentally, it was one of his past friends, so he had priority over the deal, but it wasn't in contract. The guy had just said,
contract.
Yeah, the guy had just said, hey, I'm willing to purchase this property. Can I take it? Long story short, for whatever reason, the person did not move on it. He ended up calling us back, and we got the property under contract. And from there, the basic steps of got our buyers list together, shot it out, got a few responses, showed the property, and luckily on the first buyer, he purchased the property.
Gotcha, man. Okay.
So it was pretty simplistic. It wasn't, I know there's other stories out there of these like crazy strategies people are using, but this was simplistic. It was straightforward. It was very straightforward.
I got you, man. So, okay. So the seller calls you back. Now, Mark, the seller calls you back. Did you guys go out to see the property, or you lock it up on the contract over the phone?
We went belly to belly. Yeah, we actually Made an appointment,
Yeah,
set
we
up an
did.
appointment, went out and saw it. I think what really, because like what Mark said, they had somebody else that they were waiting on, and it came through a good friend of his, so that he wanted to honor that. But I think what really was big for us, we went out and we went on that appointment and we really built rapport with them. Rapport was very huge in this deal. And so by building that really solid foundation with them, as soon as, things got rocky with the other person, they were like, well, okay, I guess we're going to go with Mark and Jeff. And they reached out to us and said, hey, that didn't work. How can we get this done?
Gotcha, man. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now, what was the so when the phone the seller calls you guys back, you start talking, Mark. Did you get a number? Like were there any negotiating? Did you got any price, or did you went out and meet at the property?
Yeah, so I'll be very transparent with this, because this is honestly the power of rapport, and I'll let Jeff speak on the rapport.
Man, I gotta apologize, you guys. It's got to be my internet. I don't know what's going on. All right. I'm gonna get some hate on this. Jeff, Mark. Okay, if you can say that again, Mark. It's my internet, dude.
That's all right. Sorry, Khang.
Can you got me now, Khang?
I can hear you perfectly now, man.
So to be very transparent, when we first we never got the property under contract. We just verbally gave them a price in which we were going to provide to them, and they accepted it. Now, we didn't run the comparables as accurately as we should have. So I told them we'd purchase the property for, what was it, 650?
No,
650.
No, 600.
Was it 600?
Yeah, 600.
For 600. I told them we'd do the property for 600. We send it out to a few people. We have a couple friends who do fix and flips, and they're like, dude, this property needs to be in like the 550s, man, for us to even consider it. Yeah. And we're like, oh, shoot, we don't even got a deal now. Like, this is crazy. So long story short, I called Jeff and I'm like, Jeff, some bad news, man. Like, the comparables weren't run accurately. I've talked to about 3 or 4 fix and flippers. We need to be at 550 for them to even consider this. And I'll let Jeff talk about the rapport section of that.
Yeah, and then so, in knowing that, it was actually the homeowners wanted 600. That's what they were looking for. That was their number. That's where they were at. Mm-hmm. So I knew that going in, but knew where, our buyers were looking to be at. And we were, we had some room to go. And I actually went and met with them at their house, not the property house, but where they lived, and, sat down at the table with them. Really just, built some more rapport, and it's the power of anchoring low, because we never really established any set price. That was what I was there to negotiate. And, listen to podcasts, listen to different people like yourself, Khang, the power of, you feel like, oh man, can I really come in and say, offer them $100,000 less than where they want to be at? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching this that'll have that feeling of, man, I don't think they'll ever go for that, right? You don't think it's ever going to work. And, I just did what I had to do, man. Went in there and offered them. We negotiated a little bit, got some laughs out of it, gave them a real low ball number. And then we kind of worked from there, and we ended up settling at, what was that? 515. 515 is what we settled.
No, 510.
Oh, 510. Yeah, excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, we settled at 510.
Because I know Khang's gonna run the numbers. So.
Yep. Okay. So,
510.
Hold on a second. So, Jeff. So, when you get on the phone with the seller, when the seller calls back and says, "Hey, the other deal didn't work. Hey, I want to work with you." The seller's asking 600 G's. Yep. And Mark,
no. Well, so we actually, the guy prior to us was offering 600, but we had never negotiated a price. So they just called me back and they're like, "Hey, Mark, looks like the guy didn't come through. Do you still want it?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure," before talking any price at all. So Jeff and I went to the house, and going back to the rapport part, we really sat there and spoke with the sellers for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, not even talking about real estate, just talking about personal lives, why they were selling the property, so forth. But to go back to your point, we went in there blind. We didn't even offer a price yet. Yeah,
Right.
we didn't even offer the price yet.
I got you. But so the seller, the one that mentioned, hey, you know what? The seller wants 600 for it.
Yes.
And you guys, at this time, you said it was just a verbal. There's no agreement. So you verbally agreed to 600?
I actually told them I'd give them 625.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
and that was like in the prior to knowing exactly where we had to be as far as, buyers actually really coming in and being serious about taking the property.
Right.
And then, so after knowing all that information, we had to come back to the drawing board. Like, man, we really got to be, this number and under, right?
Right.
So we knew where our target was.
Right. Right. Okay. So now, Mark, you're saying, okay, the seller asking for 600, but you say you pay 625.
From the comparables that I ran, I was estimating the property to be a little higher than expected. And I wasn't including escrow fees and all that other good stuff from the sales side of it.
Right.
So honestly, it was just the comparables.
Right.
And at that time, the 625 came up. It was more like the other person was still in play. Mark was trying to make, competitive pricing.
I'm just going to be transparent. I don't want people to think like we're some super intelligent people.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I ran some comparables that I thought were accurate.
Right.
And they were not accurate. So
right. So
be honest.
And hey, you know what? Mark, Jeff, I love it. No BS, just straight out like it is. Okay.
Right.
So you guys both went out to meet the seller for the first time.
Yeah.
Seller said the seller wants 600, but you guys are like, hey, there's still the other person that are in play. You did your research, and at this time, I want to know, when you guys went out, Mark, you did your research. What did you estimate the ARV was to be?
I was estimating it at about 800 to 825, depending on what the person came in and did the property. Let's just say 800.
Okay, 800. Okay, got it. And what did you guys estimate the rehab to be?
Like 50,000.
Got it. Okay, now that is, when you estimate the rehab, is that before meeting the seller or after meeting the seller?
That was
prior.
When was that?
That was
prior. Yeah, that was prior.
Yeah.
We did everything prior.
Okay, got it. So you went, okay, got it. So you went out to meet the seller. You sit down, built a rapport, chat with the seller. Seller said, hey, I want 600. Did you ask any questions before making the 625? Or did you just throw out the 625, Mark?
I mean, we asked the basic questions. When was your last renovations?
No, man. I mean, like, I want to know, did you ask any negotiating question?
Oh, no.
Dude, for example, if Mark, you were the seller, you say, hey, I want 600. Mm-hmm. And then obviously there's a buyer. Let's just say Jeff is the buyer in the back. The question I would ask before mentioning a number is I would have said, so I would have said something like that. I would have said, well, Mark, so if I can get my partner here, if we can agree on the 600, are you ready to move forward with us or not? If the seller say, no, if you do 600, the other buyer is going to do 600, I'm ready to go with my friend, then here should be the next question. Oh, shoot. I froze. So hold on a second. I don't know what's going on with my internet today, man. Mark, Jeff, dude, this is killing me, man. We're running out of time. Yep. Mark, Jeff, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. We're sorry about that.
Okay, no problem, man. Okay, so the next question I would have said, Mark, so what price do we need to be at for us to move forward to do this deal right now? You see what? Because the seller could have said, the other guy did want 600, I'll do 605. Well, in this case, the number's still too high. I understand that. But at least you want to be the one that ask and then let the seller mention a number. The seller could have said 605, man, or 610. You know what I mean?
Right.
But okay. So now I want to know. So you guys didn't lock it up on the contract. It was a verbal agreement and then you went out and you sent the deal out to your buyer for how much?
We sent it out for 700. Was it 700? What was it? What was it?
I want to say originally it was like I thought it was 650, but
was it?
Yeah,
I don't remember, man.
Yeah, what he originally had, I can't remember what the exact number was, but what we put it out at, everyone was like, "Yeah, no, that's
gotcha. So
way too high."
Gotcha. So you guys put it
That's
out
the
for
response we were getting.
I see. So you guys put it out for 650.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So for those of you who's watching and listening right now, listen to me. If you don't have a property under contract, you cannot, you have no rights to market and try to sell it because it's illegal. See, the contract is what's allow you to have that power to market your deal. So without it, unless you have, like obviously Jeff and Mark were just doing whatever it takes. But for those of you who's
we sent it out to a friend of ours that was, we pretty much asked him, what would you pay for this?
Gotcha.
We didn't really officially market it like, how we normally would. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I just want to make sure those of you who's watching, who's listening to this, until you have a contract, you can't really market the property. Okay.
Right.
FYI.
Equitable interest.
Yes. Right. Correct. Good call. Okay. So you sent out and then everybody said, well, they need to be at 550. And then now you guys go back and renegotiate with the seller. I want to know the renegotiating part. How did it go?
Well, I mean, me going, us going in there, knowing where they wanted to be, but knowing where we had to be. I knew that I really had to reiterate that rapport, really build it, and really just kind of explain to them as to why we had to be where we had to be. It was going to cost. And so we had said 50, 60,000 with the renovations. And then we had went out and viewed the property and realized, it's probably going to be a lot more. It's going to be more like 80, 90. So that was one thing. And, we explained to them closing costs and all that kind of stuff. And just really explained why, it was going to be where we had to be at. And, I came in and offered them at 500. And explained to him that we take care of all closing costs, everything like that. And he said, "You gonna take care of all the closing costs?" I said, "Yes, absolutely." And he said, "You know what? Okay, you got a deal at 510." And so we shook on it right there, signed the paperwork, got it officially under contract, and it was a fantastic feeling, Khang, that's for sure.
Gotcha, man. Okay, so you got it. Okay, so you guys got it at 510.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long did you lock it up for?
We had 30. It was a 30-day, 7-day inspection, 30-day close.
Yeah.
30 days closing and 7 days inspection.
Period. Yep.
Yeah.
Here's my next question for you. Who brought up the 7 days inspection?
We got that from so we went through a mentorship program, and it was through one of our buddies. And I think to tell people this too, like, be careful who you get mentored by, because we got mentored by someone who did one wholesale deal, but in theory, he's still he's a fix and flipper though.
Yeah.
So he basically just gave us his contract. We ran with it, and that's where we got the inspection.
Gotcha. But my question is, at the time of negotiating, who brought it up? You guys brought it up, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we had it in the contract. And so, I was going over all the contract points with them, and just kind of, actually they weren't too concerned about that. I just explained, this is what's happened before, we put this in here just to make sure that we're able to cover everything before, going forward. There's no crazy foundation issues or anything that we don't know about that could be a deal breaker.
Right. See, the thing is, you guys, the reason why I asked Mark and Jeff these questions is so you guys understand. Like, if you don't bring it up, the seller, listen, our goal as a wholesaler is to tie the prop up as long as possible. And once we find a buyer, to close it as quickly as possible. Right. So if the seller doesn't bring it up, you lock it up for under contract for 30 days. That give you a 30 days to find your buyers. But if you're the one who mentions, say, hey, we got a 7 days inspection on this. So now the seller knows. So after the 7 days, if you can't move forward, this going to get canceled. So I'm telling you that like the seller, like you don't need to bring that, like you don't need to bring it up to the seller like that. Just say, hey, we come together agreement for 30 days here. And within that 30 days period, we're going to go, you know, we're going to go do our thing. We're going to have some contract to go in. You know what I'm saying? So don't need to say things that is not being asked by the seller. If the seller asks, then yes. If the seller would ask, you come back and ask the seller back, dude. Like never drop no number. So if the seller asks me, well, so how much, so I understand you close in 30 days. So I can't tie the contract up with you for 30 days. I mean, so how long do you need for inspection? You don't mention a number, man. You go back and say, well, Jeff, Mark, how long can you give me? How long can you give us? You see that?
Make them say a number to you.
Yes, correct. Always, dude. Always. All right.
Very important.
So now, so let me see here, man. So, okay. Now you lock it up in a contract. How much was the earnest money?
It was supposed to be a $3,000 EMD, but we never even put an EMD down, to be honest.
Okay. Now, who mentioned the earnest money?
We did.
Okay. So for those who, so
No,
once again,
can I ask you a question? Are you saying EMD from A to B or from B to C?
No, earnest money between you and the seller.
Oh, no, we never brought that up. Yeah.
Okay, good. So there were, but what did you guys end up putting in your contract?
We actually did put a $3,000 EMD.
In the agreement between you and the seller.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So the thing is, you guys obviously earnest money. Most seller, if you deal directly with a homeowner, a seller. Oh God, man, this is killing me. I freeze up again. Oh my God. So hold on a second, man. I freeze up again. You guys, for those of you, when you like the interview where I break it down and ask questions like this, show me some love and smash the thumbs up. I know that some other interview, people don't break it down like this because I really want you guys to understand here. So the earnest money, listen, if you deal directly with a seller, most sellers don't bring up earnest money, don't even know if there's earnest money. All they worry about is one, I don't want to be scammed. Second is I just need to get the amount of money that we talk about and agreed upon, and there's no shady things happen, okay? So if the seller don't bring up, you can put in the agreement any amount. So if you watch some of those one that I did, you know, people put $1. So, okay, so now here's my next man. So you lock it up, you went and sent it out. You sent it out to the buyer, I guess, for $550, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do you find your buyers?
So we actually didn't send it out to the buyer for $550. So we had it at $650, and basically, we're going to be very honest. We had 2 buyers. That is it.
Wait. Wait a second. $650? I thought you lock it up in a contract for $510.
That okay? So you're saying after?
Yes.
That's basically afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. But the reason, okay, there's a missing piece to that story there. Yeah. So basically, the way we got to the 510 is we had the buyers come out, and one of the buyers was a local real estate agent, and so he came to me and he was like, "Hey, Mark, like I'll take this at $555, man. Like I'll take this at $555, and the only reason for being, he can reduce his agent cost.
Yep.
Because he wasn't gonna have to pay any of that.
Yep.
And basically that was gonna eliminate, you know, a lot of fees. So he told us, you know, he'll take it at $555, and then that's when we put it out to him.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand this. So when you sent it out for $625 or $650, you got 2 buyers that was interested.
Right. Yes.
You set up the showing.
Yes.
Right? You set up the showing, and after they walk through the property, they're like, wow, there's a lot of work to the property. And one of them came back and told you, hey, I can't do it for that, but I can do it for $555.
Yes, exactly.
So now you know that, hey, I got a buyer already at $555.
Yes.
So you went back and renegotiate, turning a no deal into a deal.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was the missing piece, but yes, exactly.
I got it. So you went. So you went back and you negotiated for, and then got under contract for $510. So that should have been a what is it? That should have been a
like 45.
45. But why did it turn out to be a 40?
So it's a funny story. I'll give you the story for our closing. So originally we wanted to double close. That's what we wanted to do. So we were looking for transactional funding. We're looking for other sources to double close. And so what happened is we have a buddy who's going to be watching this, and he's a wholesaler in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, you know, I was asking him, because we're brand new, man. Like we don't, you know what I mean? We've never gone through this process. So the people really understand. So I call him, I give him the situation, and he's like, hey, I work with a company, you know, in Georgia. They double close. Why don't I just call them and maybe they can double close for you? Long story short, we ended up going with that company in Atlanta. I don't want to say the name because I don't know the legal aspects of it. But we go with that company in Atlanta, and we're dealing with our title company here in Morgan Hill. Long story short, again, our title company in Morgan Hill says, oh, they didn't know what a double close was. They've never done a double close before. And so basically, they told us like, hey, if we're going to do this double transaction, we're going to have to eliminate the company or the title company on the other side. And so the other company, they charge us they charge us like it's like an $850 attorney fee. And then double closing for the company we went with was about $3,000. So it brought us down to like $40,859 total.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So so you guys already find a buyer already. So when you got the reductions, you already got the buyer line up in place.
Yep.
And the buyer drop off a $3,000 non-refundable?
Yeah.
Got it.
We did. Yes.
Okay, now here's my next questions. Who mentioned that?
We did.
Gotcha. Well, with the buyer, is that what you mean?
Yep.
Well, it was actually the buyer who was he brought up EMD,
Gotcha.
and we kind of agreed upon would that be. We wanted to know that he was going to be having skin in the game, right? If we want to have that in so that we know that he's serious, right?
I got you, bro.
So yeah, that's where that came up at.
Gotcha. The reason, dude, is I'm gonna help you guys with future deals, and this just happened to. So I was just on the phone with Alex. Alex is my second student. So so the buyer said, hey, I can drop off a $3,000 non-refundable deposit, right? So the buyer's the one who mentioned that, right?
No, he did not mention that.
So who mentioned? I want to know is
we brought it to him. I told him. I said, because I sat down with him.
Okay.
And I said, hey, you're gonna need to put down. You're gonna need to put down a $3,000 EMD. And he was like, okay, that's fine. I was like, that's fine.
Got it, bro. So the next time, then you guys are mentioning the next time, what you should do is saying, hey. So what you want to do is I told Alex the exact same thing. You don't want to be the one that is negotiating, whether with the seller or with the buyer. You do not want to be the decision maker. You do not want to be the one that so the reason why is because you want to be, so now you got a partner. So Jeff and Mark, like you can be good guys and bad guys. So if I were, so let's just say Jeff and I were partner on this, I would have come to you, Mark, and I would say, okay, well, Mark, I understand you are ready to move forward. But how much of a non-refundable deposit can you put down, Mark? Then I'll let because I asked that question, man.
Yeah.
Because I asked that question on deals that I'm doing like 300, 400, 500,000, dude, I get buyers put down 5, 10, like 5 is the small, 10, 15, 20,000, 25,000 non-refundable deposit.
Wow. That's a good point.
You see, because if you don't ask, if you're the one who mentioned, if you don't ask, how would you know? Like they could have thought, oh, you know what? I want this deal. I want to lock it in. I want to let them know I'm serious. Hey, $10,000.
Right. And we said 3, and he would have been able to put down 10 or 15.
Yeah, 10 or 15. So when the more, obviously you and I both understand we want them to have as much skin in the game as possible, right? So if they walk away, boom, gone, man. So watch this, man. So if you were to ask that question, Mark, so let's just say if I asked you the question and let's just say this what you said. You said, you know what, Khang, I can do, man. I can do 3,000. Here's what I would say, man. Oh, Jesus, freeze again. Jeez, I'm gonna get so much hate on this. Please don't hate on this video. I'm trying to add value, and I'm trying to give you guys some great content here, man. But the internet is killing me, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so Mark, I would have come to you, man. And then Mark, if you were to say, yeah, 3,000 is the most, dude, negotiating is key when it comes to things. If you would have said 3,000, I would have said, well, you know, Mark, my partner Jeff, you know, typically he likes to see around 5,000. Would you be able to do that? Because this is, you know, so that's what I would say. So earlier, this is exactly what happened to Alex. Okay, Alex said he got a buyer, and a buyer said, hey, you know, I can only do like 1,000. 1,000 is the most I can. So he texts back exact same thing and said, my partner said that, you know what, we got, you know, could you do 2,500 just to make sure that we got a solid deal here? And the guy said yes. You see? So now when he walks away, you know, he lose 25, not 1,000. But okay, let's move on, man. And how quick was the closing with the buyer?
The closing was so it actually took a little long. Well, the closing from the contract period or from just in general?
So when you guys found the buyer, so obviously it took you guys 2 days or whatever, right, to find that buyers.
It probably took what do you think, a little over 30 days?
Well, yeah, we had set to close on the 30th, October 30th.
And the reason is,
so that was like it was like almost 3 weeks. We gave them time to get everything out and do everything that the seller needed to do.
Well, not only that too. So one of the issues was the house, it wasn't probate, but it was a trustee property.
Okay.
So we had to get a lot of the legal information.
Right.
And then dealing with the title companies was an issue too. They were going back and forth saying, this isn't illegal, this is legal.
Right.
So it was kind of a mess at the title company. And so it went, that's why it took a little longer than expected.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to help you guys out. So that way the next one, you guys are going to crush. So
please, Khang, please.
Yeah. So here's my next question. How, when you found that buyer, how quick did that buyer say that he can close?
He was ready to close immediately.
Okay. So, but what do you set it out to close? Like 7 days, 5 days, or what?
We did, because he said he had to move some money. Yeah. It was 10 days. 10
okay.
days.
Gotcha. Okay. So 10 days. Okay. So 10-day closing, but because of all the issue, it ended up to be about 30 days.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm running behind schedule. But okay. So 10 days. Okay, good. So listen, for those of you who say, Khang, when I filter my buyers, how do I know which one is solid or not? The solid buyer said, hey, once I walk through the property, if it's all good, I'm ready to close. 5 days, 10 days, 2 weeks is the most. All right. Because some of them will have to get hard money, and hard money takes about 2 weeks, 15 days, right? They can wrap it up. If you get any buyer that say, hey, I need a 30 days closing, dude, those are weak. Those are weak sauce, not a solid buyers. Okay.
Yeah. The buyer was ready to move ASAP.
Good.
It was the seller needed a little bit of time and that kind of thing. So
gotcha.
He was ready to go. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh my God, dude.
We vetted him definitely for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically the property was owner occupied, right?
No,
it was vacant. It was vacant. Yeah.
Oh, it was vacant, but the seller needs to get some stuff.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff in this garage and stuff like that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was an older couple too. So
I see. Got it. So the thing is, you guys, we don't have time anymore. I'm running out of time. But in the future, if you have a seller, you want to close it ASAP, and you just tell your buyer, hey, after closing, seller would need X amount of days to vacate. So that way you can close on it and don't have to wait until the seller move all the stuff out or wait. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Gotcha. Because obviously we want to get the money ASAP.
Right, exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, so let me see if I'm missing. I mean, that's pretty much it. Well, you guys, Jeff, Mark, I want to say congrats on your first deal. That's awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem. So now, so first of all, how do people connect with you, man?
It's funny. We don't have any social media right now. I personally don't have any social media.
Okay.
So I think Jeff has social media.
Probably the best way to do it right now would be markjeffrey.development@gmail.com. If anybody has any questions, wants to reach out to us, has any deals that they need help with, anyone here local in the Northern California area, definitely reach out to us. And we got to get social media up and running. Definitely, that's huge. We've been slacking on that, so we definitely going to get that up and running too.
Got it. Okay. So the thing is, I'll make sure that I'll put So Jeff and Mark, so the best way to reach out, to network with you guys is the email address you just gave me, right?
Yep.
All right. I'll make sure I put that in the descriptions. Now I want you guys, I'm going to let you guys wrap it up. What are some last word, inspiration, motivation tips, whatever it is that you want to share with the audience, man?
I'll take that. I would just say to everybody who's watching, just perseverance, man. Don't take our journey. Everyone's journey is different, right? Man, it took them a year and 3 months. Oh, I don't know if I could do, don't let our journey dictate what you can do. Don't let any limitations on yourself, but just a grind daily and just fall forward, man. Like we didn't know what we were doing, we fell but we made it through, and it's definitely going to spark us to, we're going to the top, man. So
awesome. Mark, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. I mean, just to piggyback off of Jeff, you just got to believe. I mean, it's possible. You can see through this interview all the mistakes we've made, everything we've done incorrect. But at the end of the day, we have a $40,000 check.
That's right.
It's possible. You just got to believe, and don't be afraid to talk to people.
Yep, exactly.
Love it, man. Yeah, man, the thing is, listen, what Jeff just said, I agree. Listen, like don't let my limited belief or whatever it is, limit you, right? Don't, we all come different walk of life. So don't let my 6 month, don't let Jeff year and 3 months or whatever it is hold you back from your potential. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
So, and you guys, I appreciate the transparent, I appreciate the honesty, and obviously, most importantly, I appreciate you guys' time to jump on to share your story. I'm sure this is gonna inspire and motivate a lot of people out there, man. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Khang. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. For those of you who haven't followed me on Instagram, hit me up on IG. Go to Khang, Khang WTM. Thank you so much, you guys. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Ciao.